Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. And now, Viking pregame.
Hello and welcome to the NLWN-TV studios. Rick Olson here, and today the 8-2 Viking girls are getting ready to take on the 4-3 Hayward Hurricanes in a non-conference tilt. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Hurricanes and the Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Sarar's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll send it out to Hayward High School, where we'll bring you all the play-by-play action of today's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school girls basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of today's girls basketball game between the Colfax Vikings and the Hayward Hurricanes. The 8-2 Vikings are looking to bounce back following Thursday's 51-31 loss to the Elk Mound Mounders. In the loss to the Mounders, the Vikings struggled with ball control, rebounding, shooting, and handling the pressure the Mounders applied. Leading the way for the Vikings in that game, however, was the performance of 5'9" senior Ainsley Olson, who hit 2 field goals, both of which were 3-pointers, and went 4 for 6 from the free throw line for 10 points. Jeanette Hajdukovic followed with 4 field goals and a free throw for 9 points. So far on the season, leading the way for the Vikings in scoring is McKenna Shipman, who's hitting for 17 points per game. She's followed by Hajdukovic, who adds over 6 points per game. The Hayward Hurricanes are currently 4-3 on the season, following Thursday's 63-25 win over Cumberland. The Hurricanes are also looking to stay within striking distance of the top spot of the Heart of the North Conference, as they are currently only 1 game off the pace. Look for the Canes to be led in scoring by junior Avery Pope, who's putting up 11 points per game. She's followed by junior Greta Schmidt, who's pitching in another 10 points per game. Senior Michaela Cadat and sophomore Rachel Miller follow, averaging 9 and 8 points per game respectively. On the boards, the Hurricanes are led by Pope, who's grabbing nearly 7 rebounds per game, while Cadat is pulling down another 5. Thus far on the season, the Hurricanes average 47 points per game while giving up 40. On the other hand, the Vikings are averaging 49 points per game while giving up only 39. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Courtney Sarar on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking girls head coach Courtney Sarar. And, well, Coach, the Vikings ran into a buzzsaw when they took on the Elkmount Mounders on Thursday, dropping a 51-31 decision to the Mounders. Your thoughts about that game and what the Vikings can do to right the ship?
Yeah, I don't think that we played well. We turned it over too much. We were pretty hesitant. Didn't seem very confident. Elkmount kind of got off to a really good start, and then from there we just didn't respond. So I know that that's not our normal kind of ways. So I'm just gonna chalk it up to we haven't played in a while, and now that we're getting back into the swing of things, I think try to get some more wins together again.
Yeah, in watching that game last night, that's what it appeared to me too, is that being 17 games since you played another team, that makes it pretty tough to be game sharp, and that showed last night, or Thursday night anyway. Now today the Vikings are going to take on the 4-3 Hayward Hurricanes. The Hurricanes play in the heart of the North Conference. What can you tell us about the Hurricanes and any challenges they present?
I don't really know a ton about, Hayward. I know that Joe does a really good job with his girls, and, historically have, had a lot of athletic kids. They'll typically play, man, and then mix in a 1-3-1 with a trap. So I think it'll, present some challenges for us, especially coming off of a loss and not really having a lot of time to prepare, but that's kind of the way basketball goes sometimes. So the thing that I'm looking for is just, that we just come more ready to play, I think. So I'm hoping, sometimes losses can be a good thing. And I'm hoping that, Thursday kind of woke us up a little bit, so we don't get complacent and remember that, we still have to come ready to play every single night.
Now, a player or two seemed to get banged around a little bit in that game on Thursday. Are the Vikings dealing with any injuries coming out of that game?
Molly twisted her ankle, in the second half against Elkmount. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear and see, how she's feeling, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure at the moment, what that looks like for her or anything. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, game time decision, they call that. All right. Well, Coach Serrar, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can get right back on that winning track.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The 8-2 Vikings are looking to battle the Hayward Hurricanes in a non-conference matchup. Now, these two teams met a year ago tomorrow, with the Vikings coming out on top 59-24. In fact, the Vikings have won the last 3 meetings with the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes would like nothing better than to break the Vikings streak and repeat their victory over the Vikings from back on November 16th of 2017. So the stage is set for some exciting girls high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. So in just a moment, we'll send it out to Hayward High School, where our broadcast crew will bring you all the action of tonight's girls game between the Colfax Vikings and the Hayward Hurricanes. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN-TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
And the long pass down and in by Hajdukovic.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking Girls Varsity Basketball game.
Long pass down the floor to Olsen. She stops, puts it up, she hit it!
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
This gets it over to the left side to Shipman, three-pointer. She hit it! McKenna Shipman with the three puts the Vikings on top, 3-2. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Hayward High School. Rick Olson here along with Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera, and we're all excited and ready for some matinee basketball. Vikings taking on the Hayward Hurricanes. Vikings trying to come off that loss to Elk Mound that they just like to put in the rearview mirror and never look at again. And the Hurricanes actually trying to put together a pretty respectable season this year.
Yes, I think after the other night, teams are really got their eyes glued down on McKenna Shipman, and I think Colfax is going to have to find some other girls that are going to step up here in the rest of the season. You're exactly right. Elk Mound held McKenna to 2 points, and those were both from the free throw line. And she was trying, and she was putting shots up. Some of that, though, Dan, could be due to the fact that they hadn't played anybody in 17 days. And so now they got a little bit of that rust out of their system. And so hopefully they can make things work and get things going. But you're right. If they shut down McKenna, somebody else has got to step up and score. Yeah. And so they got to make that happen. Yeah, which has to be either Ainsley Olsen or it would be nice to get Hajdukovic somewhere in the mix so they can get that inside game going, which then would make the outside game happen, and that's where maybe Hydorn and Chipman could find some shots, along with Nigaman. Now, Molly Hydorn got injured in the game last week, and she is in street clothes down there underneath the basket. You can see her there. And so she won't be playing tonight. Kaysen Goodell is going to be starting in her stead. In fact, I'll tell you what, why don't we take this brief time out, and then we'll be back, and Dan will give you the starting lineups for today's game. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit dairystatebank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
And we're back here at Hayward High School getting ready for today's game between the Colfax Vikings and the Hayward Hurricanes. Vikings are 8-2 coming into this game. And Dan, why don't you give us the starting lineups?
Yeah, here's the starters for the Hayward Hurricanes tonight. They're going to go with junior guard number 5, Greta Schmidt. Junior guard number 13, Maddie Bergschneider. Junior number 15, Olivia Poppy. Junior number 21, Avery Chaka. And senior number 53, Michaela Cadat. For the Colfax Vikings, they're going to go with sophomore guard number 4, Kason Goodell. 5'9", senior number 14, Ainsley Olson. 5'7", junior number 32, Jada Anderson. 5'10", junior number 40, Jeanette Hajdukovic, and 5'7", junior number 42, McKenna Shipman.
And that's who's going to be playing tonight. I'm checking real quickly here. And their program doesn't say the win-loss record for the Hayward Hurricanes. The last I looked at something that did say it, they were right around 500. Something like 3-3, 4-3, something like that. Let me take a quick look here as both teams are heading over to the bench. And we're getting ready for the national anthem and player introduction. In fact, we'll send it down to the scores table for that right now.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the RJS Gymnasium for today's non-conference matchup between the Colfax Vikings and your Hayward Hurricanes. Hayward Girls Basketball would like to thank a couple of local businesses for their support for the basketball program. Hayward Hope Center for providing meals to all the players, managers, coaches for road games. Artland for purchasing the traveling bottoms and tops for both the JV and varsity squad, and the other local businesses for their continued support of Hayward Girls Basketball. Colfax High School, Hayward High School, and WIAA require good sportsmanship, education-based sporting events. Attendance at interscholastic activities is a privilege with the expectation to exhibit positive and respectful behavior. For the enjoyment and respect of all in attendance, your cooperation in demonstrating the high ideals of sportsmanship is expected and greatly appreciated. To honor America and those defending our freedom, Hayward High School asks those that are able to please stand and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem.
So the playing of our national anthem. And we'll send it right back down to the scorers table for the starting lineup for tonight's game, at least their version of it. And my guess is they won't do nearly as well as Dan did.
And now, for the starting lineup for this afternoon's game, for head coach Courtney Sarr, Colfax Vikings. A sophomore number 4, Mason Goodell. A senior number 14, Nancy Olson. A junior number 32, Taylor Anderson. A junior number 40, Jeanette Hayukovich. And a junior number 42, McKenna Shipman. Joe Perez, Hayward Hurricanes, a junior number 5, Colfax a junior number 13, Abby Curtis-Meyer, a junior number 15, Olivia Poppy, a junior number 35, Avery Poppy, and a senior number 23, Michaela Tada.
So there's the starting lineups for tonight's game. Again, for the Hayward Hurricanes, it's Schmidt, Bergschneider, Chukka, Poppy, and Kadott. And for the Vikings, it'll be Goodell, Olson, Anderson, Haydukovich, and Shipman. Ainsley Olson stepping into the center circle. And the Hurricanes are coming out. In the center circle is Avery Poppy. And the tip goes over to Schmidt. And then a long shot. It's good by Olivia Poppy. It was a 2. Full court pressure being put on the Vikings, and they turn the ball over, but it gets tipped out of bounds by Michaela Kadott. So the Vikings inbounded. Anderson gets it into Goodell, takes it across the timeline. Over to the left side to Olson. She's high on the left side. Dribbles it over to the right, hands it off to Goodell. Over to Anderson on the right side, drives down to the baseline. Tries to feed it to Shipman, cutting into the lane, but it gets knocked away and taken away by Schmidt for the Hurricanes. She comes down the floor on the left side. Over to Avery Poppy. And Olivia, and then they swing it back around to Avery on the left side. Spins. Gets it out to Olivia. Out to Michaela Kadott. That's over to Schmidt, and then back out high to Avery Poppy. She's got it on the baseline. Then they kick it out to Bergschneider. Bergschneider out to Olivia Poppy. Over on the right side, they try to feed it to Avery Poppy, and it gets knocked out of bounds by the Vikings. Hayward being pretty deliberate with their play right now, looking for the open shot. Bergschneider with it, drives along the baseline, feeds it over to Poppy. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound taken away by Olson. She got fouled. I think it's on Bergschneider. Nope, I take it back. It's on Avery Poppy. First foul on anybody. So the Vikings inbound the ball. Shipman feeds it over to Anderson. Bounce pass to Olson, lays it up. She got fouled. Shot was no good, but Ainsley Olson goes to the line for 2. And the foul was on Avery Poppy. It's her second. First shot is up and good. Ainsley coming off a 10-point game. against the Oakmont Mounders, where 4 of those 10 were from the free throw line. She's got 2 tonight. Ties the game at 2-2, 16-16 remaining in the first quarter, or first half. Hayward Hurricanes inbound the ball. Bergschneider bringing it down the floor. We got a whistle, and we're going to get a foul called on Jada Anderson. Her first team foul on the Vikings. Cadott inbounds it over to Bergschneider. Bergschneider across the timeline. Feeding it over to Chukka. Chukka at the free throw line. Stops. She's in the lane. Kicks it back out to Bergschneider. Bergschneider drives into the lane. Tries to get it back over to Chukka, but it got intercepted by Olsen, and the Vikings bring it down the floor. Goodell on the dribble between the circles. Feeds it over to Olsen on the left side. Tries to get it in the lane to Hajdukovic, and it's tipped out of bounds by the Hurricanes, so the Vikings will maintain possession. Try to get it into Hajdukovic. A lot of traffic there, and Hayward comes away with it. Bergschneider drives down to the baseline. Turns, gets it out to Cadott. Back over to Bergschneider from baseline. She puts it up and in. 4-2. Hayward on top. Vikings in the backcourt. Shipman with it. Now they feed it over to Goodell. Goodell to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic tried to go up with it, and it got blocked. And down the floor comes Bergschneider for the Hurricanes. She gets it out to Schmidt. Schmidt stops at the free throw line. Kicks it out to Bergschneider. Coming across the baseline. Ball's loose on the floor. We're going to get a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Vikings. Anderson gets it into Shipman. Over to Goodell. Goodell looking for somewhere to go. Finally, they get it into the forecourt to Olsen. Tries a bounce pass to Hajdukovic, but it was kicked out of bounds by the Hurricanes. So Anderson to inbound for the Vikings. Bounces it to Shipman, tries to lay it up, and she got fouled going up. She's going to go to the line for 2. And the foul's on Olivia Poppy. So McKenna Shipman at the line for 2. First one is on its way. It's no good off the back of the iron. Nigaman and Bovey into the lineup for the Vikings. Second shot on the way. The round, and down. 4-3, Hayward up by 1. 14:36 remaining. Hayward has the ball. This is Bergschneider. Dribbles it off her foot, picks it up, gets it to Cadott. And we have a 10-second violation. Viking pressure defense kept Hayward in the backcourt. And so the Vikings will inbound the ball. Anderson gets it into Bovey. Bovey up across the timeline between the circles. Feeds to Hajdukovic in the lane. Stops, puts it up. It won't go down for. Rebound. Tap back in by Hajdukovic. Ball's being scrambled for on the floor. We got a jump ball. Ball's going to go to Hayward on the possession arrow. So Cadott getting ready to inbound. She gets it into Poppy. And we have a whistle. We're going to get a foul.
Should be
on Shipman. That'll be Shipman's first personal, second team foul on the Vikings. Bergschneider with the ball. Gets it over to Schmidt. Schmidt across the timeline, but loses the handle. Ball's loose on the floor. And we're going to get a reach-in foul called on Hajdukovic. That's the third foul on the Vikings. First foul on Jeanette. And into the forecourt comes Schmidt. She feeds it over to Bergschneider from the side of the lane, puts up the shot, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound for the Vikings, and down the floor comes Bovey, feeding it over to the right side to Nigaman. To Anderson, back to Nigaman from the free throw line, it's no good. Rebound being chased down by Hayward. Chukka got that rebound and got it over to Bergschneider, who's between the circles, taking it over to the left side, feeding it out to Chukka. Chukka drives into the lane, tries to put the shot up and drew a foul.
Should be a foul on 40. Oh, they don't.
Nope.
Give it.
Fouls on Bovey. First shot is on the way. It's good. This is Chukka at the line. Avery Chukka. 5-3. Hayward leading 13-23 in a low-scoring defensive struggle. Second shot by Chukka is on the way. It's good. 6-3. And the Vikings bring the ball down the floor, behind by 3. They get it to Olsen in the forecourt. Out to Bovey. To Shipman. Drives the lane. Puts it up. It's no good. Down the floor comes Bergschneider for Hayward. She's at the free throw line. Gets it out to Kadat at the top of the key. Then over to Chukka. Shot was no good. And the rebound taken down by Nigaman. Nigaman feeds it over to Shipman. Shipman underneath to Olsen. Olsen puts it up and puts it in. Ainsley Olsen cuts the lead to 1, 6-5. Hayward on top. Kadat with it, gets it over to Chukka on the right side to Bergschneider. Drives inside the arc, now at the free throw line. Turns, finally gets it out to Schmidt. Schmidt drives into the lane, feeds it out. We're going to get a travel call on Olivia Poppy. Into the lineup for Hayward is Holly Framo.
Yeah, both teams kind of struggling to get in their set plays yet. Good defense by both teams.
Bovey with it across the timeline. Stops at the top of the key. Gets it over to Keltner. And then to Nigaman. She's driving and fouls on the floor. It's going to be on Poppy. That'll be the 4th foul on Hayward. 2nd personal on Poppy. Meadow Keltner inbounds the ball to Shipman. To Olsen, three-pointer on the way. She hit the 3! Olsen with a three-pointer. Puts the Vikings on top, 8-6. Chukka with it at the free throw line. Hands it off to Poppy. Struggle on the floor. They get it out to Schmidt. Puts up a 3, no good. Rebound taken down by Nigaman. Feeding it over to Shipman. And down the floor comes Shipman. Feeding it over to Keltner. Then to Bovey. Out to Nigaman. Nigaman thought about driving and then decided to pass it over to Bovey on the right side. Getting it over to Shipman between the circles. To Olsen. High, wide, and right. Drives into the lane. Puts it up. It goes in. Ten to 6. Vikings up by 4.
Ainsley has 9 of the 10.
And we have a whistle and a foul on Nigaman. Bergschneider's going to go to the line. That's the 5th foul on the Vikings. And the shot by Bergschneider is no good. Goodell back into the lineup for the Vikings. Bergschneider's second shot is off the back of the air, no good. Rebound taken down by Anderson. Anderson brings it down the floor across the timeline. Stops at the top of the key, gets it out to Olsen. Feeds it underneath to Goodell, lays it up. No, it won't go in. Bergschneider with the rebound for Hayward. And we have a timeout on the floor being called by Hayward. Vikings 10, Hurricanes 6, 10:46 left to go in the first half. And you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
Hayward inbounds the ball. They get it over to Chucka at the top of the key, then over to the right side. They feed it off to Poppy. Puts up the shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Nigaman. Feeds it to Olsen, who gets it back over to Goodell. Goodell brings it right through the center circle. Over to Anderson, high, wide, and right. To Nigaman from three, just off the front of the iron. Rebound by Poppy, and down the floor come the Canes. Schmidt with it. Feeding it over to Poppy on the left side. She dribbles out high, gets it over to Waystat. And then to Chucka. Chucka out to Schmidt. Ball gets knocked away by Anderson. She gets it to Olsen, who launches a three. She hit the three! Ainsley Olsen with a downtown three. As our partner Jay Fall would have said, she would have had 1 foot in the parking lot. Actually, at that end of the gym, that would be right. Hayward has the ball. Chucka with it, puts a shot up from the baseline, and it's good. 13-8, Vikings on top by 5. Anderson brings it down the floor, takes it right down the lane, lays it up, and she puts it in. And another timeout being called by Hayward. So with the score, Vikings 15, Hayward 8, you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Hayward inbounds the ball, and they're in the backcourt, and they hand it off to Poppy. Takes it down the right side, then from the right corner, Waystat puts up the shot. It's no good. Goodell gets the rebound for the Vikings, and quickly down the floor, right through the Hurricane logo at center court. Feeds it over to the left side. Olsen drives the baseline, feeds it underneath to Anderson, who lays it up and in. 17-8. And down the floor come the Canes. Chucka with it, drives into the lane, feeds it over underneath, and the shot goes up and no good by Fremel. And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Goodell on the dribble on the left side. Feeds it underneath to Anderson, who all alone. Nobody in the same zip code with Jada Anderson, and she just turned around and put it in the hole. 19-8. Schmidt with it. Lays it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Olsen. Goodell with it. Puts on the brakes, now takes it across the timeline. at the top of the key, setting things up to Keltner. Keltner over to Anderson to Olsen. Now over to the right side to Goodell. And the shot goes up, and a whistle and a foul. And that's going to be a foul on Greta Schmidt. That's the 5th foul on Hayward. 3rd foul on Schmidt. First shot is up, no good. Three in, 3 out for Hayward. 2 in, 2 out for the Vikings. Goodell's second shot is up, off the back of the iron, no good. And down the floor comes Bergschneider. She gets it over to Poppy. That's Avery Poppy. Now they feed it into the lane. Shot goes up. It won't go down by Chukka. And the rebound taken away by Goodell. Down the floor come the Vikings, feeding it to Hajdukovic. She lays it up and in. Jeanette Hajdukovic with the 2. Down the floor come the Hayward Hurricanes. Bergschneider over to Chukka. Now they've got it back to Bergschneider. Drives into the lane to Avery Poppy. Looking in the middle. Putting it up is no good by Cadat. Her second shot is up and good. 21-10. Vikings on top. Goodell with it. Getting it out to Shipman. Putting it up, and that one's short. And out of bounds, and it goes to Hayward. So the Hurricanes bring it down. Bergschneider on the dribble. Cross-court pass over to Waystat. Then down into the corner. That's Chukka. Getting it back out to Waystat, but it was stolen by Goodell. Down the floor. Feeding it over to Shipman. Shot goes up. It's short. And coming away with it down the floor is Avery Poppy. Puts up the shot. It's good. And she drew the harm on the shot. And I'm looking to see who the foul was. It's a 6th-team foul on the Vikings. Now it's up there on the scoreboard. They're saying the foul was on somebody who wasn't in the game, so I have no idea. It might have been on Jada Anderson. Shipman drives in, lays it up and in. First field goal by Shipman tonight, or today. 23-12, Vikings on top. Cadat with it, turning around, putting it up, and she finally got one to go. Michaela Cadat with the 2-pointer. From in the lane, Shipman on the dribble. Feeding it to Nigaman on the right side. To Shipman, she lays it up and in. 25-14. Down the floor comes Hayward. Cadat with it in the lane. Feeds it back out to Bergschneider. Ball got tipped away from her as she was dribbling it in. And Shipman brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Gets it to Bovey. Stops. Gets it back out to Shipman from 3. She hit the 3. McKenna Shipman finding the range again. It took her a little while, but she's found it. This is Bergschneider driving the baseline. Feeds it over to the right side. Out to Chukka with a shot that's no good. Rebound by Schmidt. Shot goes up. It's no good. Rebound taken down, this time by Nigaman for the Vikings. And down the floor comes Bovey. Bovey between the circles. Feeding it out to Olsen. High, wide, and left. Then to Shipman. She hit a 3 again. McKenna Shipman She's on fire. Bergschneider with it, feeds it to Cadott, puts the shot up, no good. Olsen with the rebound, gets it to Shipman. To Bovey across the timeline. Gets it to Shipman between the circles. Over to Olsen, launches a three. She hit the three! Ainsley Olsen on fire tonight as well. And we have a timeout being called by the Hayward Hurricanes. So with a timeout on the floor, you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 10th, when the Vikings will host the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN-TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Girls Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV on Tuesday, January 10th.
And we're back here at Hayward High School. Dan, we got some scoring going on here. What do you got there?
Yeah, it looks like Hayward's just having a little trouble getting back out onto those threes, and which has given Ainsley and Michaela 5 threes. So Ainsley's got 15, and McKenna's got 2 threes to make her 11 points. So 15-11.
And the Hurricanes inbound the ball. Both young ladies on fire. Just keep feeding them. Bergschneider puts it up. It's no good. Rebound gets tapped out of bounds by Nigaman. So it'll remain Hayward ball.
Yeah, you know, Hayward's getting the shots. They're just not falling right now for him. They're getting inside, getting good looks. It just won't fall.
Inbound pass to Cadott. Turnaround jump shot. That one goes in. 34-16, Vikings on top. 3:41 to go in the first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we have a Viking profile, and it'll be McKenna Shipman tonight. Or today, I should say. Inside the gym, you can't see what it's like outside, but this is matinee basketball. Bovey with it, tries to get it over to Olsen. Ball got tapped into the backcourt. Olsen goes back and picks it up. Feeds it to Shipman. Out to Bovey. Over to Olsen on the left side. Down to the baseline to Shipman. Back out high to Olsen. To Bovey. She takes it over to the right side. To Shipman on the right side of the lane. To Keltner. Keltner in a little bit of trouble, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Olsen as Greta Schmidt was heading there to intercept that pass, and Olsen got her feet tangled up.
Yeah, that was good defense by Hayward.
That's the first foul on Olsen's 7th team foul, so Hayward goes to the line for the 1-and-1. First shot is up, it's good. Greta Schmidt at the line. Second shot is up and it's good. And Olsen right back in for Bovey. Shipman with it. Through the center circle. Feeding it over to the right side to Nigaman. Nigaman tries to get it out, but hands got in the way by Hayward. And down the floor comes Poppy. Feeds it over to Bergschneider at the top of the key. Then over to Schmidt on the right side. Over to Avery Poppy. Then back inside to Olivia Poppy, and her shot was no good. Vikings come away with the rebound. Shipman on the dribble. Gets it to Olsen. High, wide, and left. Ball gets tipped out of bounds, and it'll be Viking ball. Greta Schmidt got a hand on it. Landed in the Hayward boys spectators there. Keltner inbounds it to Anderson. Anderson tried to feed it over to the side, but it got knocked out of bounds by Hayward. Anderson's going to inbound for the Vikings. 2:21 to go in half number 1. Inbound pass to Olsen. To Shipman, drives the lane, lays it up. It's no good, but she's going to the line for 2. And the foul's on Michaela Cadott. That'll be I think it's the 7th, maybe it's the 6th team. First free throw by Shipman is good. It was the 6th team foul on Hayward. First on Cadott. Second shot is up, no good. Rebound, battle for, last touch by Nigaman. A few Colfax spectators on the other side didn't agree. Looked like that from here. Hayward has the ball, baseline jumper by Poppy is no good. Shipman has it, stops in the lane, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Fouls on Avery Poppy. And it's going to put Shipman to the line for the 1-and-1.
That's 3 fouls for Avery Poppy.
Shipman puts up the first, and it's good. Second shot on the way. It's also good. 37-18. Vikings on top. And down the floor come the Hurricanes. They're on the left side. It's Poppy with it. That's Olivia. Getting it out high now to Chukka. They swing it around to the right side. Bergschneider drives it into the lane. Gets it out to Chukka on the left. Takes it over to the free throw line. To Poppy. Putting up the shot. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Olsen. That was Olivia Poppy on the shot. Anderson. Bounce pass over to Olsen. Then over on the left side to Nigaman. Back to Olsen. Pass to Anderson. It was tipped, but Anderson got it. Nigaman puts the shot up. No good. Rebound. We're going to get a whistle. And it's a foul on Shipman, I believe, on the rebound. That's her second personal. It's the 8th team foul. So Olivia Poppy at the line for the 1-on-1. First shot is on its way. No good. Rebound taken down by Anderson. Feeds it over to Bovey. Bovey through the Hurricane logo. To Keltner. Back to Bovey. Bovey on the dribble. Gets it over to Anderson on the left side. Feeding it into the lane to Olsen, who lays it up and in. Under a minute to go in the first half. 39-18. Vikings on top. Hayward swinging it over to the right side. Chukka and gets it to Poppy. Ball's loose on the floor. We're going to get a jump ball called. They got it over to Bergschneider, but she got tied up by Anderson. 42.5 seconds left in the half. Bovey on the dribble for the Vikings. She gets it across the timeline. Over to the left side to Keltner. Back to Bovey. Bovey spins. Gets it back to Keltner on the left. Keltner tries to get it to Bovey. The ball gets intercepted by Schmidt. Puts up the shot. It's no good, but there's a whistle and a foul. Schmidt's going to go to the line for 2, and the foul is on Bovey. That's her second personal. 9th team foul on the Vikings. First shot is up and good. Second foul on the way. It's also good. 39-20. Vikings up by 19. Across the timeline comes Bovey. Gets it over to Anderson. Tries to get it. We're going to get an over and back called because the pass was a little bit wide of Bovey. Hayward's bringing the pressure out high in the forecourt, and it's causing some problems with the Viking ball handlers. Shot goes up, long shot, and it brings us to halftime. So the score at halftime, Vikings 39. The Hurricanes 20. And we'll have Viking halftime coming up right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know McKenna Shipman, who is a junior here at Colfax High School. And McKenna, we know that you play basketball, otherwise we wouldn't be standing here talking. But what are some other things that keep you busy here at school?
I play volleyball and softball also, and then I do lots of homework.
Okay, and that's the important part too.
Yep. And then I play with my niece a lot. I spend a lot of time with family.
Okay, very good. Very good. When did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
I started playing in about like second, third grade, and it's been exciting. It's fun to be around everyone and the bond we make.
Okay. And what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
How to communicate with other people.
Okay. And I know that a little earlier I was talking with Jeanette, and we were talking about how that communication isn't always verbal, is it?
Nope.
Yeah, it can be a hand motion, it can be a head nod, and all of a sudden something happens, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you occupied?
Lots of family time.
That's really important, and so I'm glad to hear you say that. All right, I've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cake.
Which kind?
A vanilla cake with some kind of fruit filling.
Ooh, that sounds really good. If you come across that, bring some by. I'll help you sample it.
Okay.
Okay. Your favorite color and why?
Blue, probably. Just because I like it, I don't know.
That's as good a reason as you need. Okay, now if you could have a superpower, what do you think it would be?
Super speed.
Super speed. Okay, and you've got plenty of speed the way it is. So super speed, this could be hard to watch you on the floor. You'd just be so fast.
Yep.
Now, if you have that power of super speed, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with it. What is McKenna's superhero name?
Probably Cruisin' Kenna.
Cruisin' Kenna. I like that one. Okay. Favorite NBA or WNBA team?
The Bucks.
And collegiate team?
Probably the Badgers.
All right. Is there a basketball player that you paid attention to when you were younger that's kind of inspired the way you play your game?
Both my older siblings, so my brother and my sister.
Real good, and that's kind of a nice little shout out to the family. We're talking with McKenna Shipman today on Viking Profile. And McKenna, what are your plans for after high school?
Hopefully go to college and maybe study something in the medical field.
Okay. No idea about any specifics or anything yet?
Nope.
But you're only a junior, so you still got time.
Yep.
All right. How about a shout out to the rest of the family?
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always supporting me and bringing me places.
Okay, very good. So when people watch Viking games, what number is McKenna wearing and what position are you playing?
I will be wearing 42, And I will be a shooting guard.
Okay. We want to thank McKenna Shipman for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
CWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How is it? Is it good?
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
And welcome back to Hayward High School, getting ready to start the second half of today's game. Vikings out on the floor warming up. Hurricanes will be coming out in just a moment, but the Vikings have opened up a 39-20 halftime lead. And Dan, why don't you tell us how we got to that score?
Yeah, here's the scores right now for Hayward. Once I turn this down. We have Michaela Cadet, she's got 6 points leading the team, followed by Greta Schmidt and Checo with 4. And then we have Berg Schneider Poppy and Olivia Poppy and Avery Poppy with 2 points each. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer right now is number 14, Ainsley Olsen with 17, followed by number 42, McKenna Shipman with 14. We have Jada Anderson with 6 and Jeanette Hajdukovic with 2.
And both Olsen and Shipman, a good portion of those points came from out in Three-Land, and that was a pretty big help in boosting up that lead for the Vikings. Although we were talking during halftime, the Hurricanes seemed to adjust to the Vikings a little bit late in the half and bringing their pressure out in the forecourt. And the Viking guards had a little bit of trouble handling that. Let's see if they continue that or if they figured out how to deal with that.
Yeah, both coaches have always said, this game is about runs. The beginning of the game, it was a big defensive battle. About middle of the half, Colfax got out in transition, got their open shots. Hayward had some problem finding who they were guarding, and then all of a sudden towards the end, Hayward turned it around and got some points and played good D again. So
the Hurricanes to inbound the ball to start half number 2, and we are underway. And this is Poppy with it and hands it off to the other. Poppy puts up the shot. That was Olivia. It was no good. Shipman gets the rebound, gets it to Goodell as the Vikings come across. Moving from right to left now. Feeding it down underneath to Hajdukovic. Puts up the shot. It's good, and she drew the harm. That fouls on Olivia Poppy. That'll be the first team foul on Hayward. That's the 4th foul on Poppy.
Yeah, a little more confusion there by Hayward and who's guarding who.
Hajdukovic puts it up, and we're going to say there's a free throw line violation by Hajdukovic. So although the ball went through the hole, it doesn't count. 41-20, Vikings on top. Schmidt brings it across the timeline for Hayward. Feeding it over to Chukka. Then to Bergschneider on the right side to Avery Poppy. Takes it to the free throw line, into the lane, out to Kadat, puts up the shot, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. She hands it off to Goodell, who brings it across the timeline. They're picking up the Vikings right at the timeline. They feed it down underneath to Shipman. The ball gets knocked away, and here comes Hayward back down the floor. This is Schmidt on the dribble. Takes it over to the left side to Poppy. Over to the right side to Bergschneider. Back to Poppy. Back out high to Schmidt. Schmidt at the free throw line, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Goodell. That'll be the first foul on the Vikings in the second half. First foul on Goodell. Hayward inbounds the ball, and they do get it into Bergschneider. She saved it from going out of bounds. She has it at the top of the key, then over to the left side to Schmidt. Then to Chukka. Out to Poppy. Over on the right side. Now they feed it down underneath to Kadat. She puts up the shot and got fouled. I think it's going to be on Shipman.
That's her third.
Yes, it is.
That'd be her third.
Second foul on the Vikings. Michaela Kadat at the line. First shot is up off the back of the iron, no good. Second shot up. No good. Rebound taken down by Anderson. Feeding it over to Goodell on the left side. And we're going to get a kicking violation against Hayward, so the Vikings will get the ball out of bounds. Goodell was trying to feed it over to Olsen, and Poppy got her foot in the way. So Goodell has it across the timeline. Pass over to Olsen, now over to Shipman on the left side. Back out high to Goodell, to Hajdukovic, to Anderson. Shot is no good. Rebound taken down by Poppy. Here comes Hayward back down the floor. Schmidt on the dribble, trying the left baseline, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Foul's on Goodell. So going to be her third team foul on the Vikings. Hayward inbounds the ball to Poppy. In the lane, puts it up, it goes in. 41-22. 15:50 to go. Goodell with it, high, wide, and left. Tries to feed it toward the middle, but nobody there but black shirts. Ball's loose on the floor. Vikings pick it up. Hajdukovic tries to get the pass down deep, and it gets taken away by a Bergschneider. And we have a whistle. And the foul is going to be on Hajdukovic. It's her third personal. It's a fourth team foul on the Vikings. Melody Isham is into the lineup for Hayward. Chukka with it in the lane, feeds it out to Isham, stops at the free throw line, gets it out to Schmidt. Then over to Chukka, to Poppy. Down at the baseline, and then they feed it to Poppy. Puts up the shot, no good. Rebound taken away by the Vikings. Goodell with it, over to Olsen. Down to Shipman, three-pointer on the way, off the iron, no good. Anderson with the rebound. She gets it out high to Goodell. Goodell with a shot, no good. Rebound, tipped out, picked up by Hayward. Down the floor comes Poppy. Turns around, puts it up, and it goes in. Down the floor come the Vikings. Goodell's pass got tapped right back into Goodell's hands. Then over to Olsen, and Olsen's pass got knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, one thing Colfax has to do right now is when they're going to make their pass, they're kind of staring down the one they're going to pass to, and Hayward's been just picking them off. So he's give a little fake or something.
Bovey on the dribble now. Gets it out to Olsen, launches a three. No! Cut out with a rebound for Hayward. Gets it over to Schmidt. Schmidt across the timeline on the left side. Takes it to the top of the key. To Kadat. Kadat turns, looks, doesn't pull the trigger. Gets it over to Isham. Now over on the right side. Schmidt on the dribble on the baseline. Puts it up, and we're going to get a foul on Nigaman, I think. It is. That'll be the fifth foul on the Vikings. The other thing I've noticed Hayward's doing is they're taking it right at the Vikings. First free throw is up and good by Schmidt. They're going right at him, which is drawing a lot of fouls.
Yeah, one thing to remember, Greta Schmidt has 5. She's 5 for 5 from the line.
Second shot. Make that 6 for 6. 41-26. Viking lead cut to 15. They get it over on the right side. Bovey lost the handle, and down the floor comes Hayward. And Schmidt puts it up and in. Bovey on the dribble across the timeline. Feeding it over to Nigaman on the right side. Back out to Bovey. She's double teamed out there. Gets it to Nigaman. Bounce pass to Olsen in the lane. She tries to get it out to Keltner, and Keltner can't hang on to it. And it goes out of bounds. It'll be Hayward's ball. Schmidt brings it through the center circle. Takes it over to the left side. To Grace Schmidt, who's now in the lineup. Ball gets knocked loose on the floor over to Schmidt, and she can't control it before it goes out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. So we have Greta Schmidt and Grace Schmidt out there for Hayward. Bovey with the ball for the Vikings. They get it over to Nigaman on the right side. Out to Anderson, high, wide, and right. Over to Bovey between the circles. Long pass into Nigaman, gets picked off by Hayward. Down the floor, laying it up, and it goes in. That's Grace Schmidt with the 2. 41-30, the lead is cut to 11. Bounce pass to Anderson, stops at the three-point line. Gets it back out to Bovey. Bounce pass back over to Anderson, down into the corner to Keltner. Keltner drives toward the lane, feeds it out to Bovey. Bovey to Anderson. Anderson puts up the shot, no good. Rebound by Bovey. Bovey down in the right corner, gets it over to Nigaman. Hands it back off to Bovey, high, wide, and right. Over to Nigaman. On the right wing, and to Bovey. Bovey feeds it underneath. Olsen tries to go up and got called for the foul. They got Chukka on the arm. That's a second foul on Hayward. First personal foul on Chukka. Olsen's at the line for 2. First shot is up. It's good. Shipman and Goodell into the lineup for the Vikings. Cadet also back into the lineup, as is Bergschneider for Hayward. Olsen's second shot is on the way. It's good. And Hajdukovic checks in for Olsen. Ball comes in to Isham, and then they get it down to Cadet on the side of the lane. She tries to lay it up, and then she dragged the pivot foot. Traveling call.
Yeah, good defense there by number 40, Jeanette Hajdukovic for Colfax.
And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Goodell with it. Gets it over to Shipman. Feeds it down low to Keltner. Then to Shipman. Tried to feed it in to Hajdukovic, and we get a whistle and a foul. I think it was on Cadet. Yes, her second foul. Third team foul on Hayward. Goodell with it, gets it over to Shipman. To Keltner, puts up a three, no good, and it gets knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be awarded to Hayward. I think Nigaman just watched it. I think she thought it was off of Hayward. And nope, it was off of her. At least that's what the officials saw. So Bergschneider with it. Feeds it over to Grace Schmidt, who gets it to Isham. Then back over to Grace Schmidt. Out to Bergschneider. Tries to drive the lane, put it up, no good. Rebound, put back up by Cadet, and she got fouled. Foul on Hajdukovic. That's 4 on her. 11:01 remaining. Each team with a player with 4 fouls. First shot is up and no good by Michaela Cadet. Olsen back into the lineup for Hajdukovic. Second shot on the way, and that's good. 43-31, Vikings up by a dozen. Hayward keeps nipping away at that lead. Olsen with the ball, feeds it down low to Nigaman. Tries to get it to Shipman, ball goes out of bounds off Hayward. So it'll be the Viking ball under their own basket. Keltner to inbound. Feeds it into Olsen. Gets it back out to Nigaman. She hit the 2. Just inside the arc. 45-31, Vikings on top. Cadet with it in the left corner. Gets it out high. That's to Grace Schmidt. Then to Chukka, and then into the lane to Bergschneider. Her shot got blocked, and Nigaman came away with it. Goodell with it. Gets it to Olsen. Down into the corner to Keltner. Puts up the 3, and she hit the 3. (48-31). Coming up on 10 minutes remaining. Shot goes up, no good by Bergschneider, but she drew the foul. Fouls on Olsen. That's her second personal. 7th foul against the Vikings, so Hayward's in the bonus. Bergschneider's first shot is no good. This was actually a shooting foul. Second shot by Hayward is up and good. 48-32, Vikings by 16. Goodell on the dribble. Gets it over to Olsen. Back over to Goodell. Over on the right side to Nigaman. Back out to Goodell. Over to Olsen. Over to Keltner. Three-pointer off the rim, no good. Rebound taken down by Hayward. Bergschneider bringing it across the timeline. Feeding it over to Poppy on the left side. To Chukka. Now they swing it back around. Bergschneider's got it on the right. She takes it into the lane. Turns, goes up, and got fouled on the way up, and will be shooting 2. Fouls on Keltner.
Should be her
8th foul on the Vikings.
Should be her first.
And it is. First shot is up and good by Bergschneider. Anderson into the lineup for Nigaman. Second shot on the way, and it's no good. Rebound put back up and in by Cadat, and that one's good. 48-35. Goodell brings it across the timeline. To Olsen, to Goodell. Back to Olsen. Olsen puts up the 3. No, that one's not going to get there. Cadat with the rebound. Down the floor comes Schmidt. She drives the baseline, puts it up, no good. Out of bounds. They're saying Olsen tipped it. Jordan Bovey into the lineup for the Vikings, as is J.C. Bovey. So Bovey and Bovey into the lineup for the Vikings. 9 minutes remaining. Ball comes out high. Bergschneider with it, gets it over to Schmidt. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Anderson for reaching in. That's going to be the 8th foul on the Vikings. Second foul on Anderson. And Cadat back to the line. First shot is up and good. Second shot. That one's good. 48-37. Viking lead cut to 11. Olsen to Goodell, or to Bovey. Check that. Back to Olsen. Down in the corner to Shipman. Shipman drives the baseline. Get it over to Jordan Bovey. Puts up the shot. No good. Rebound taken down by Hayward. They get it down in the left corner, then back out high to Cadat. At the top of the key. Over to Poppy, drives into the lane, gets it to Schmidt. Over to Poppy. Poppy on the dribble, turns around, puts it up, and it doesn't go. Rebound. Taken down by the Vikings. It was J.C. Bovey. She brings it across the timeline. Gets it over to Olsen. Over to Bovey. That's J.C. out high. A little bit of trouble there. Gets it over to Anderson on the right side. Back out to J.C. Out to Olsen between the circles. To Jordan Bovey. To Shipman on the left baseline. Gets it out to Olsen. Olsen feeds it over to J.C. Bovey. To Olsen. Three-pointer on the way. Rattles around. No. Putback is up and in by Anderson. 50-37. And down the floor comes Hayward. Cadat with a turnaround jumper. No good. Olsen with the rebound. Gets it over to Shipman. Shipman across the timeline. Back out to Olsen. Olsen thought about the 3. Drives into the lane. Tries to lay it up. Does not get it to go, but drew the foul. That's a foul on Cadat. Her third personal. 4th team foul. Olsen at the line for 2. First shot is up. It's good. What's she doing at the line there, Dan?
She is actually 5 for 5.
Probably shouldn't have said that. Second shot on the way. It's good. She doesn't care if we say it. She's 6 for 6.
21 points for Ainsley Olsen so far.
New season high for her. Hayward gets it over into the right corner. This is Poppy with 4 fouls on her. Puts it up no good. Olsen with the rebound. Gets it over to Shipman. Down the floor to Bovey. Bovey looking and gets it over to Anderson. Out to Olsen. Back to Bovey. Over to Jordan Bovey. Over to Olsen from the free throw line. Shot goes up no good. I guess you can't do it in live action. Hayward driving down the floor. Puts it up from the lane. That's Avery Poppy with the shot.
Avery's got 8 points for Hayward.
Bovey with it into the forecourt for the Vikings. Gets it to Anderson. Back out to Bovey. Bovey takes it out between the circles. Tries to feed it to Olsen, but the pass is off the mark. And we have a whistle, and we're going to get a foul on Jordan Bovey. As Bergschneider was heading down the floor, and they both tumbled to the floor.
It's Jordan's first.
10th foul on the Vikings, so double bonus for Hayward. I guess it was Avery Poppy, not Bergschneider. First shot is up and good. Hajdukovic in for Olsen. And Goodell is in for J.C. Bovey. Second shot on the way. No good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. Gets it to Shipman. Brings it across the timeline. Well, passes across the timeline to Goodell. Long pass over to Shipman. Can't find the handle. But Hajdukovic got her hands on it, and they get a jump ball called. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Vikings up by 12. 5:51 to go. Pass into Hajdukovic. Puts it up. It won't fall for her. And Hayward comes away with the rebound. Schmidt on the dribble on the left side. Puts up a 3. She hit it. Viking lead cut to 9. And they want to talk things over. 52-43. Vikings on top. 5:33 to go, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
On those days when you're hankering for something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by FitFam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve Herbalife meal replacement shakes, metabolism-boosting teas, and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. FitFam is a slam dunk. That's FitFam Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
We're back here at Hayward High School on a Saturday afternoon. Vikings on top of the Hayward Hurricanes in what, to be honest with you, at the end of the first half looked like it was heading for a blowout, and Hayward has scrapped their way back into this. 52-43, Vikings on top with just under 5.5 to go. Jordan Bovey with it out between the circles. Gets it over to Anderson on the right side. Drives inside the arc, then kicks it back out to Goodell. Circles up back around to the top of the key to Jordan Bovey. Circling through. Basket goes through, and she drew the harm. Jordan Bovey with a couple of points tonight. And the foul was on Melody Isham. Her first personal, 15 foul. Free throw by Bovey is up and good. Chukka into the lineup for Isham. And Hayward brings the ball down the floor. 55-43. They have it at the top of the key. Bergschneider out to Poppy on the right side. Turns around, tries to get it back out to Bergschneider, who has it between the circles. To Schmidt, drives into the lane, lays it up, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound, gets it to Shipman, and the Vikings quickly down the floor. Goodell with it. Over to Shipman. Shipman out to Goodell. Goodell over to Anderson. And we have a whistle and a foul on Schmidt. Tried to knock the ball away from Goodell. That'll be the 6th foul on Hayward. They had that one to give yet. So from now on, the Vikings will be in the bonus. By the way, that was the first foul on Schmidt, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Hajdukovic.
Is that her 5th?
That is her 5th. And she's going to finish with 4 points on the night. Olsen checking back in.
And Ainsley's got 2. And that's Colfax is big, so.
I'm not sure why the ball is being awarded out of bounds to Hayward. I would have thought they'd have been shooting 2, but evidently not. Hurricanes bring it down the floor to Bergschneider, over to Poppy on the right side. Poppy feeding it to Avery. Poppy back out high to Schmidt at the free throw line. Turns around, ball gets knocked away, and the foul is going to be on Anderson. Vikings trying to get their hands in there.
Her 3rd.
So going to the line for 2 is Greta Schmidt. Hey, she missed one. So she is human. Second shot is on the way. That one's in.
She's 7 for 8 from the line.
Vikings bring the ball down the floor. That's Goodell on the dribble. On the right side. Over to Olsen. Swings it over to the left side. To Bovey. Back to Goodell. Puts up the 3. She hit the 3. Kaysen Goodell with a 3-pointer. 58-44. Vikings by 14. Poppy with it. Swings it over to the left side. Long 3 is no good, and we're going to get a push off on Avery Poppy, I believe.
I think that's her 4th.
Well, we'll see here in a second. You're right. So both Poppies have 4 fouls. And Cadet into the lineup for Chukka. Olsen at the line. First shot is up, and that is also a miss. I guess it's when they go 6 for 6, they have to miss the 7th. So Schmidt with it, gets it to Cadet. Cadet with the reverse layup is no good. Ball gets tapped out to Poppy, it's no good. Cadet with the putback, and she got it to go. Vikings inbound it. Olsen has it, tries to feed it across the timeline. Ball gets taken away by Poppy. Turnaround jumper is good. 58-48. Vikings by 10. 2:50 to go. Goodell with it. Picks up the dribble out high. Tries to feed it down to Jordan Bovey, and it's out of bounds.
Yeah, that little press that Hayward has up here above the three-point line is giving Colfax a little trouble.
Well, and they're picking up the dribble, which takes away all their options out there in the trapping area. Hayward feeds it underneath on a little bit of a give and go, and Poppy lays it up and in. That's Avery Poppy. Viking lead cut to 8. Shipman with it. Feeds it underneath to Bovey, puts it up and in. That's Jordan Bovey with a 2-point layup.
Jordan has 5.
60-50, Vikings by 10, coming up on 2 minutes remaining. Cadott turns, kicks it back out to Poppy. And now the other Poppy, this is Avery, drives the baseline, puts it up. We're going to get a whistle and a foul. He's going to go to the line shooting 2. Fouls on Jordan Bovey. First shot is up. No good. This is Avery Poppy at the line. Second shot on the way. That one's good. And we get a timeout call by the Hurricanes with 1:59 to go. It's the Vikings 60, Hayward 51, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit dairystatebank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
So here's the situation, 1:59 to go. Vikings 60, Hayward Hurricanes 51. Vikings to inbound the ball. Anderson gets it into Goodell. Goodell back to Anderson. Down the floor, over to Olsen on the right side. To Shipman. Trying to drive the lane, loses the handle on the ball, and Hayward brings it back down the floor. Coming up on 1.5 minutes to go. This is Poppy. Over to Avery Poppy. Out to Cadott, puts up the 3, no good. Jordan Bovey with the rebound. Down the floor come the Vikings. Bovey with it, out high, wide, and left. Feeds it to Shipman on the left wing.
Hayward's going to have to start thinking about fouling.
Down underneath to Anderson. Thought about going up with it and decided not to. Out to Goodell from 3. No good. No, it is good. It rattled around. I thought it was coming off, and she got a little shooter's roll there and got the 3-pointer. Under 1 minute to go. 63-51. Hayward with the ball. This is Poppy. Tries to feed it underneath, and it gets taken away by Anderson. Somewhere along here, the Vikings are going to pull out the corners. Goodell with it. Oh, tried to feed it to Olsen, but Olsen had no idea it was coming to her. She was heading into the lane, and the pass came behind her. 37.9 remaining. Hayward with it. Bergschneider across the timeline at the top of the key. Over to the left side, tries to lay it up. It's no good, but whistle and a foul. Fouls on Anderson. 4th foul on her. This is what the Vikings don't want to see, is Hayward scoring with the clock stopped. First free throw is no good by Bergschneider. Vikings by 12. Second shot on the way. That one's also no good. Shipman with the rebound. She's got it. Feeds it to Olsen in the forecourt. Quickly down to Bovey. Cross-court pass to Anderson. Out high to Olsen. Over to Bovey.
to Shipman. High, wide, and right. To Bovey, to Olson, to Shipman, to Goodell. Vikings running the clock. 5 seconds remaining. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Vikings ball with 3.5 seconds to go. This one in the victory column for the Vikings. They will up that record to 9-2 as 1 second, and the final shot is up, no good. So the final score, Vikings 63 and Hayward Hurricanes 51. We'll have a little bit of talk about this one coming up right after as we get into Viking postgame, which is coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have a lawn with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Join us on NLWN-2 for exciting Colfax High School boys basketball.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Monday, January 9th, when the Vikings play host to the Prairie Farm Panthers. This will be part 2 of a girls then boys doubleheader live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN-2. Begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2 on Monday, January 9th.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking Girls Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Girls game. And now, Viking postgame.
And we're back here at Hayward High School, where the Vikings came out on top by a score of 63-51. And Dan, you and I were talking about a little bit. Vikings, little sluggish start, but once they caught fire, they shot the heck out of the ball in the first half. Then had some problems adjusting to the pressure that Hayward put on them in the second half.
Yeah, I think Colfax got such that big lead there in the first half. They got on that run with Ainsley Olsen and McKenna Shipman hitting all those shots, and I think they just kind of started to sit back and relax, and Hayward decided to play some ball and up their defense and free throws, and then all of a sudden they're right back in it.
And got themselves right back into the game. Vikings were up by nearly 20 in the first half and end up winning it by only 12, and it had been cut down to 8 at one point, and Hayward was right back into the game. And so the Vikings have some things to clean up as they get ready to get back into conference play
in the not too distant future. We're waiting to see if we get Coach Serrar today. It's kind of a convoluted way to get to us, so I'm not sure if we're going to see her or not. I'll tell you what, Dan, why don't you tell us how we got the scores we got?
Yeah, here's the scores for Hayward tonight. They're led by Avery Poppy with 14 points, followed by Cadott with 13. We had Greta Schmidt with 12. We had Bergschneider with 4. We had Chuckle with 4. And we had Grace Schmidt with 2. And Olivia Poppy with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led tonight by number 14, Ainsley Olsen with 21 points. McKenna Shipman had 14. We had Jade Anderson with 8. We had Kason Goodell with 6. We had Jordan Bovey with 5. We had Jeanette Hajdukovic with 4. We had Meadow Keltner with 3. And we had Autumn Nigaman with 2. So another deep bench for Colfax. They had 8 girls with points.
Okay, and it does look like we're going to get Coach Serrar to come up here and talk with us. And let's see if we can find her. There she is down there. Well, congratulations, Coach. You pulled out a victory, but it got a little tense there late in the second half.
Yeah, we turned it over a few more times than I would have, liked, but, I thought a lot of kids stepped up and, made big shots when we needed it, when the momentum was starting to swing the other way. Kaysen hit a couple threes. Jordan, I thought, did some good things up for us off the bench, and I was really proud of Ainsley, stepping up in a senior role without Molly tonight. I think she really, I think she had like 20-some points, but she also just kind of, calmed everybody down and helped talk the kids through it. We still have a ton of kids playing a lot of minutes who haven't, had some varsity experience, so it's good to see her take on that senior leader role and do that.
I was pretty impressed with the off-the-bench play of Jordan Bovey. She seemed to be in the right place at the right time and with a cool composure out there. The varsity game didn't seem over her head at all.
No, yeah, I mean, her number was called, and she stepped up to the plate and played a few great minutes for us at the end of the game.
Now, in the first half, the Vikings were shooting the eye out of the hoop, and but then Hayward made some adjustments defensively, brought their pressure out higher, started picking up the Vikings at the timeline, and that seemed to frustrate the girls a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely, brought a little bit more pressure in that 1-3-1, and we definitely cooled off second half shooting-wise, so it was just kind of a bad mix for us there for a while, but credit to the girls, they didn't give up, and we hung with it right to the end, and we were still able to come out with the win. So,
and it's got to feel a little bit good after that event that we won't talk about from Thursday night, but that kind of gets you set to get back into conference play coming up on Tuesday against the Elmwood Plum City Wolves.
Yeah, it's always great to bounce back with a win after a loss, and I was happy with how our girls played today, and we obviously missed Molly's composure and guard play and experience, but I thought everybody stepped up when we needed them to, and overall it was a good win.
Now, what is the status on Molly? She turned an ankle in the Elk Mountain game. How is she coming along?
I think she's still sore, so we're just taking it day by day.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations again. Thanks for stopping up to join us as the Vikings take charge and pull off a 63-51 win, and we'll be back with some final thoughts right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy Football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN-TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
And we're back here at Hayward High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow. And Dan, your final thoughts about this 63-51 victory the Vikings have?
Yep, Colfax figured it out in this game how to get the win, and that'll look good coming up here. During conference play here against Elmwood Plum City here.
And the other conference games as well. They're going to need that kind of. They did kind of keep their heads about them, even though they were frustrated getting the ball to penetrate. They kept it together and pulled the win out and found that if they just rely on the things they can do, they're okay.
Right, yeah. Rely on the system that's been put in place by them, and good things will happen.
So don't forget to join us on NLWN-TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Tuesday, January 10th, as the Viking girls will host the Elmwood Plum City Wolves in a Dunn St. Croix Conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50, and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax Girls Basketball, Tuesday, January 10th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. And don't forget to join us on NLWN-2 and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Monday night as the Viking boys will take on the Prairie Farm Panthers. Live coverage begins with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. And that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax Viking boys basketball. And Dan, I'm going to let you sign us out tonight.
Yeah, tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let the Dr. Buckley and his family staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where you're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing fabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound. Plus, they are healthy. Be sure to thank all your fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. For Rick Olson and Chris Olson, this is Dan Petchow. We will see you in the next game. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.